to me, you're the absolute OG of electric dirt bikes, and like really, you are the reason why it opened my eyes to like what is possible or what's going on. Back in, what was it, 2016 when you hopped on the Alta for the first time? Um,
Yeah, I think it was like April of 2016, I think is when I met with all the guys at Alta and went and tested the bike the first time. And then a few short months later, we were lining up at Red Bull Straight Rhythm to go race all the factory guys on 250s. So it was
that's crazy.
quick. Yeah, I mean that bike was so ahead of its time, and it was such a fun thing to be a part of. Shame that it just would have been great to see where that bike would be now had that band stuck together and everything worked out right. But
Yeah.
it's created a vacuum with them not being here. It's created a vacuum, and now we've got so many fun, unique bikes to play with, and everybody's got their own idea on what the future is going to look like.
Yep.
And I love it. You get these wacky ideas, and some of them work great, and some of them are junk, and some of them start as junk and then turn out great. So
Yeah, and you've kind of been
it's
around
fun.
for all of it, man. Like you've seen so much of these brands like come and go and evolve. And like when you started that first time with Alta, like back then, did you envision that you were going to that you were like kind of making history in a way? Like this was the start of something huge, or was it just like, oh yeah, I'll go try this thing out?
Well, I guess it's kind of a history on how I grew up. So we had 7 acres about 30 minutes outside of Portland, Oregon on the Washington side.
Hmm.
And I used to have the coolest supercross track. We had neighbors, but they weren't really that close, but they were constantly complaining about the noise. We had one neighbor that constantly complained about the noise. I had Mini Warriors, this moto video that was like based around youth, came out to my house, and we had my dad would go and he would weld two pipes together, and it looked like I had a pipe sticking out this far past my rear fender, in that video. That was just to try to make the neighbors happy. And
Oh wow,
eventually we just sort of
that's
lost
funny.
that battle and said it wasn't worth the middle of nowhere, out in Yoncalla, Oregon, which is, it's about 3 hours south of where we used to live and all my friends and all that. And
Yeah,
I love it out there, but I always missed, that backyard that I used to have that we had to kind of abandon ship on.
yeah,
So then fast forward, I'm living in Orange County, Newport Beach, San Clemente. I was kind of bouncing around like that. I lived there, and we ride mountain bike trails up there. And there's so many trails out there that are just sort of untouched. And occasionally we'd sneak out and take the dirt bikes out there and ride them around town and get out there. And it'd always be like, you know, you'd be lucky if you didn't have any run in with a cop following you or stopping you or something. But I was like, man, if we just didn't have noise, it just open up a whole new world of possibilities on what you can do, because we're not doing anything wrong. We're just, people don't like the noise.
yeah.
And anyway, yeah, that was right around the time. Then, next thing you know, I look online and I see this Alta, and I'm like, dude, that's it. I've been waiting for it. So like, I had no real expectations for it at all. And I was immediately, my expectations were surpassed with that. At that time, it was more of a trail bike. Suspension, it was pretty heavy, but the power delivery on it was so good. And they had such a solid base to start with. But it was a bit of a roller coaster trying to make that a supercross bike. I was taking Monster Energy. I was the moto side at that time, and I was taking my vacation days to go test the Alta so I could race the straight rhythm
Damn.
event. So we made that happen in really about 5 or 6 work days.
No
We
way.
took it from that trail bike to supercross.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
it was that tight
but
on
that
time,
team was
man.
so fun to work. Yeah, and it was funny. They were just like, hey, because I kept telling them like, hey, when is there any way I could get one of these things from you guys? Borrow one, I'll get you some content. And at that time, they were so prototyped that they didn't really want them leaving the shop. So they called me and they're like, "Do you want to race straight rhythm?" I'm like, I don't know if it's ready yet. Like,
Yeah.
that's a cool idea, but then they call me back. We'll give you the bike when we're done if you race it. I'm like, all right, deal. So
Yeah.
that's the deal. Like, I love the bike that much that I'm like, yeah, let's go do it. So, and then it was cool to have the success that we had with it. And, to not just get blown out of the water, to make it through to the podium round was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
And,
man.
I think it was I don't remember if it was Jordan Smith or Alex Martin, but one of those guys beat me out for third place, but still really, really cool moment. And yeah,
A
thought that was going to
historical
be,
moment, man. Like it is I think a huge piece of history. It's like, I think it was the first time that people saw, I mean, electric dirt bikes weren't that popular to begin with, but to see it at that level with you on it and like actually throwing down, it was like, oh, these guys arrived. And a great decision on Alta's part. And I think probably a great decision on your part too. I mean, I really do think it was a huge point of history.
I mean, not everything you do in this life has to be around, monetary compensation. That was something
Yeah.
that was just, I loved the idea. I loved everything about it. I kind of took a risk on electric bikes when, pros of my level would kind of laugh at it.
Yeah.
And, it was such a cool thing, such a cool experience. Learned a lot from those guys. And I mean, they sent me over to Geneva, Switzerland. I did a one-on-one battle versus Ricky Carmichael. And I mean, we were getting in anywhere we could fit in with the bike. And then I did that water park video on it
Yeah.
and, just tried to film a lot of stuff out and just messing around in the streets, kind of just seeing what you can get away with
Mm-hmm.
at that time. And it's crazy that was 10 years ago. So there wasn't these Suron gangs, of kids 100 deep riding
Yeah.
wheelies through the street.
Yeah.
So me, I never really was about riding wheelies in the street and, going fast and breaking traffic laws. I just wanted to ride unique places and unique things and jump stuff and find things to drop off of. And we couldn't believe, what we were able to get away with, the places that you could ride the bike without having any negative interaction.
Yeah.
And even when people did find you, police or just, a guy out walking his dog comes up and he just, "Hey, what is that? That is
Yeah.
cool." Just a completely different response than if I was on my 450.
If you made it this far and you want more, you can find the full episode of the eMoto Show by clicking the links below, or just search the eMoto Show wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if this was useful, please like and subscribe.